Sean Terry here from Flip2Freedom.com. I wanted to record this quick video via Google Hangout for you to invite you to an event that I have coming up here shortly. And interestingly enough, I reached out to a handful of people and asked them to help me out, and I wanted to find out what their biggest frustration was in or is in right now in the real estate investing business. And interestingly, for the people that answered and replied back and to my question there, I greatly appreciate it. And for you that haven't seen it, that's fine. It's probably sitting there in your inbox. But the bottom line is, I was shocked, honestly, by a lot of the answers of what your frustrations are right now, what's going on right now in your life and in your business. And I want to basically eliminate and solve those for you. So I'm going to do a live training coming up here soon, next Thursday or so, I don't know. Click the link below and then it can tell you where to register. But the bottom line is that, I'm going to talk about specific things that will literally get rid of those frustrations for you. So one of them is credit rating. I asked, like I said, a handful of people, and they came back and said, I have terrible credit. I'm afraid to talk to a seller or to do a deal because I feel like my credit's going to be pulled, and I don't know what to do. How can I do real estate and make money in real estate with having bad credit? And I can tell you, when I first got started, I had a 580 credit score. My credit completely sucked. It was terrible, right? And the bottom line is that I'm going to show you on this training exactly, and it's not going to be a what to do session. It's going to be a how to do it session, right? And I basically, we're going to talk about how you can get around the whole credit thing. I've done hundreds, if not thousands of deals, right? And I have never been asked to pull my credit unless I'm going to personally buy the property, right? And I'm going to take it down using conventional financing, right? That's the only time ever credit becomes involved. But if you're going to wholesale a house or flip a house, guess what? Credit is completely irrelevant. I don't care if you have a 480 credit score. I don't care if you have a 700, 800 credit score. It doesn't matter, because no one will ask you for your credit score. So don't be afraid of that. And I'm going to show you how to get over that. The next thing is funding. What you would not believe. I got, from the people who responded, 90% of the people said funding. I have to have funding to do real estate. I've got to have funding to be able to buy the property. I have to have funding to be able to make money. I have to have funding for, to do this. Let me tell you that 99% of the deals, I made millions of dollars last year with zero funding, just wholesaling. So if you're not familiar, really familiar, maybe you've heard the term flipping houses or wholesaling or whatever the case may be, that is a method where you don't need funding, right? And see, the problem with me, when I first started in real estate, I had what's called a preconceived notion. A preconceived notion is I thought I knew what it took to get involved in real estate, to make money in real estate, to do a specific deal. I thought I knew. That's called a preconceived notion. And a preconceived notion, right, is one of the biggest, largest pitfalls for people that I have found getting involved in real estate, because they think they know. And see, the problem is that if you think you know something, there's becomes an element of arrogance. Well, I've heard that before. I know how to do that. Really? How much money did you make flipping houses last month? How much money did you make last year wholesaling houses, flipping houses, using no credit, using no funding, using no cash of your own? How much did you make? And people are like, well, really? Really? So then the arrogance kind of dissipates, because the bottom line is that preconceived notion is an enemy. The only, people I see that get involved in, they want to learn and they listen to podcasts, you have to have an open mind. You've got to have an open mind, right? If you don't have an open mind, guess what? You're going to get stuck in this road that you think you know what you know, right? And the bottom line is that there is a way, and I do it every day. Contracting with motivated sellers, contracting with HUD homes, contracting with, you can do this with literally, most of the deals we do are with motivated sellers. Most of the deals that we do, direct to seller, a landlord that needs to sell a house that the house got trashed, someone that's in foreclosure and they got to sell it before it goes to auction, a guy that has a tax default property that's going to lose it. That's a motivated seller. A divorce situation where they just want to get rid of the house, right? What else is there? Inheritance, probate. You've heard them all, right? The bottom line is you negotiate directly with the seller. 99.9% of the deals we do, I use a $10 earnest money. $10, right? $10. People saying, oh, I have to have money for earnest money. You don't got $10, right? So $10 for earnest money, I contract the property and sell the paper. It's called wholesaling. I find a seller for $50, and then I find a buyer for $60. The buyer provides all the funds, okay? And we'll wire it either through a assignment or through a double escrow. So on this training, I'm going to show you the mechanics of what that looks like, how it works, what the contracts look like, so you can eliminate all that. So just go in with an open mind instead of having a preconceived notion saying it can't be done. Now, you might be in a state where, guess what? You cannot do double escrows. You cannot do assignments. In that case, you would need transactional funding, okay? So I just started a company where I offer transactional funding, that type of funding for people that need a bridge loan for 24 hours, right? To come in and fund the transaction and turn around and sell it. That's what transactional funding does for you, okay? So, maybe you didn't know about transactional funding. And guess what? With transactional funding, we don't check credit because we don't care. All you got to do is have the buyer in place, and you got to be at the same title company, right? So it's a solution to a problem, so you can still generate revenue. Okay, so what's the other one? Someone says, okay, how to make the correct offer. That was another one, right? Because it's almost like you're going to buy a car, right? And you have no idea what the value of a car is, and it's and you go in there and you offer for a car $1,000, right? Because you just don't know what you don't know. Right, and then the guy's like, "What are you talking about? $1,000? What are you nuts? Get out of here! I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for a car. The thing's $32,000. You're paying right? Well, guess what? In real estate, there are some sellers. If you come in with offers like that, and you don't know how to strategically go in there and position and present your offer correctly, they're gonna get pissed and they're gonna throw you out of their house." So what happens is, first, you have to have a complete and understanding of what a correct offer is, okay? What price is a correct offer? And see, here's the thing. There is no one size fits all, okay? You can't do a blanket formula all across the United States, because in Indiana, it's completely different from Vegas, from Houston to Dallas to Phoenix. Right? They're complete different. But what I can do is talk about the concept, the idea, show you what it looks like, what you can look for, and then the more you do it, the better you'll get. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Is it okay to screw up? Yeah, it's okay to screw up. I've made offers that, it's, we have a thing in our company here. It's called the bat chuckle. right? It's the back chuckle. So what is the back chuckle, right? Interesting. The back chuckle is when you come out with a low offer, right? So the seller in their head's thinking 100, right? And we come out with a $40,000 and say, listen, based upon the comps and what's going on in the neighborhood, and based upon the current renovations on the property, we need to be around $40,000. And then shut up and look at them, right? Now, two things are going to happen. One, they're going to say, okay, I can make that work. Or two, they're going to say, what? What do you, $40,000? There's no way. And then you go, oh, okay, sorry. Listen, I'm just messing with you. I'm sorry. Now, you have to have a level of rapport built before you can do that. But you say, I'm just messing with you. I apologize. I just it's been a long day. I've been to like 4 different appointments here. Sorry. So where do you need to be to make this work, right? And then you can finally get down to that. So the thing is there's a way to position. I'm not saying you do that with every single one. That's not a strategy. You go, okay, I'm going to use the back chuckle on every single deal. No, it's not do that. You have to completely understand renovations, right? And how renovations basically are adjusted in your offer price, so it creates a logical understanding for the seller to buy into your it's not really buy in, it's the truth. What's it going to take to get the house to 2015 values? What's it going to take? Right? Do you have to redo the floor? Do you have to redo the cabinets? Do you have to put, granite countertops? Do you have to, redo the roof because the roof hasn't been done in years? Is the AC in, or the heating system need to be completely replaced? What about the landscaping in the backyard? Do you have to re-put sprinklers in the thing now? What about the pool? Do you have to replace the pool pump and stuff? So all those things take into an account that will affect your offer price. Okay. And if you aren't using repairs strategically in your offer price, you're missing out. That's number one, right? And I'm going to show you what repairs, what to look for, right, with the repairs, and give you a basic understanding of basically a checklist you can go through to kind of determine where you need to be on a specific property. Okay. Now there's repairs. There's also comps. Well, comps are, you can ask 10 different people what the value of a house is, right? And you're going to get 10 different answers. Why? Because people are going to look at comps in a different way. So, what I'll give you is basically what an appraiser would do if they're going to look at the house, right? And then from that standpoint, then we've got to take into an account what is currently on the market, right? And then repairs, and then put that together to come out with a strategic offer that you can explain. If you come out with a $40,000 offer, $100,000 offer, $280,000 offer, and there is no logical justification behind it, right? You're not going to get the deal. It just doesn't happen. See, when I go in and talk to a seller, I know exactly what's going on in the neighborhood. I know everything that's pending. I know everything that's active. I know everything that's sold. Right? I know my repair budget inside and out. I know more than the seller does on their own property. So when I go in and talk to the seller, and the seller goes, well, the house down the street sold for X. And I said, no, it didn't. That house down the street is listed, and it's 450 square feet bigger than yours, and it's been listed for 200 days. Now, you could try to list the same thing for 200 days, but the bottom line is you might never even sell the thing. That's not even a comp. A comp is what's sold. Now what you're doing is you're educating the seller in the process. Now, I don't want to make this into a whole training call. The bottom line is that I'm going to do an actual Google Hangout with all you guys. So we can get everybody on the call. There's no limit to the amount of people that can get on the call. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of break all those down. The last thing that was a commonality between most of the responses, the biggest frustration, is a combination of fear, right, and then getting started. So there's fear of what if I write a contract and I screw up? What if I say something stupid to the seller? What if I what if I contract the house and then I can't sell the house? That happens. That's part of the deal. So you gotta front end. You gotta contract the house, right? So you don't have that problem on the back end. Okay, it happens, right? It's part of the deal, and how you handle it is critically important. So fear of the unknown. Fear. So we've got to eliminate fear. And also too is understanding that we are providing a service to a very small percentage of the marketplace. 95, 96, 97% of the people, they're going to list their house with a realtor because they have time to sell. They want to get top price. There's no distress. There's no urgency. They can take their time. 95 to 97% of the population, most people are going to list their property. There are 3 to 5% in your market right now, and in any market across the country, that is in a situation where urgency matters, right? Over price, where the property needs so much repairs, they don't have the time or energy or money to put into it. 3 to 5%. 3 to 5%. So, I got, responses back from people, and it goes, everybody in my market wants retail. So do mine. Everybody in our market wants retail too, but except 3%, except 5%. He goes, well, I tried this, and I put out 300 letters, or I put out 1,000 letters, and everyone that called in wants retail for the price. So do I. I put thousands, hundreds of thousands of letters out, and most of the people want retail. Same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's a numbers game. You'll get that 1, 2, 3%. Out of 100 calls, you're going to get 3. Out of 100 calls, you're going to get maybe 5, right? Becoming better of a understanding and seeing and understanding. Because think about it. Most people aren't going to, there's very few. There's 1% that call up and go, oh my gosh, I got this house. It's completely trashed. I got to get rid of it. I don't want it anymore. It's a complete burden, and I just got to get rid of it now, right? That is less than 1%. So what is everybody else going to say? What would you say? If you had a house you needed to sell, would you call someone, an investor up, that's going to offer you cash? Would you tell them your long, blown-out sob story and how life completely sucks and you have to sell it now? Think about it. What would you do? What would you do? You would hold your cards to your chest, wouldn't you? Just like playing poker, right? If you got a sucky hand and your hand's terrible, right? And you're putting your chips in the table, you don't go, oh, my cards suck, it's just terrible, and no, you're not going to do that, right? You're going to hold your cards chest and you're going to act as if everything's okay. Everything's fine. So you might be getting calls, send out 300, send out 1,000, and the seller might be going, everything's okay, right? Until you go to their house, and then you build rapport. And then you walk the house, and then you educate them on comps, and then you educate them on repairs, and oh my gosh, now the truth comes out. And now they're willing to take your offer that makes sense. Have you ever thought of that? So here's the thing, is that you might have got the call. You might have got the call. Right? You might have send out 1,000 and you go, I said 1,000, everybody wants retail, right? Okay. Everybody wants retail. And on that call might have been 1 or 2 of the people that could have put $15,000, $20,000, $5,000, $10,000 in your pocket, right? Because you could have helped them solve that problem. But no, right? You thought, because it's education. Everything is, some guy's like, well, I don't need more education. I just need to get deals. Well, that's stupid. Okay. I read books like it's out of control. I don't listen to music in my car. I listen to audiobooks. I attend mastermind groups. Those mastermind groups are to learn. I'm constantly trying to educate myself to get better. So a guy that goes, well, I don't need any more education. I just need to get deals. Forget it. Quit now, because you're not going to get them, right? You have that attitude going in, forget it. Just quit. Go get a job, work for somebody else, and have somebody else go out and educate themselves and go out and build a business, and then you can work for them, okay? So, I hate to be rough with you, but the bottom line is, come on, give me a break. You can't stop educating yourself. Anyways, the bottom line is getting yourself educated about what it takes to make an offer, what it takes to, to make the correct offer, then present that offer, then educate the seller. We'll overcome that fear. Education and then taking action overcomes fear, and we get to eliminate that fear. The other side of it too is feeling you're doing the right thing. We are servicing 3% to 5% of the population. 3 to 5% of the population. That's it. So we're providing a service for those people. Now, what happens is, is that, some people feel bad maybe that we're taking advantage of somebody. We're not taking advantage of somebody. We're providing a service, because what are they going to do? Most people, when we contract their house, that they don't have to do any fix up. They don't have to pay any closing costs. They don't have to, get the place all in show position so people can condition so people can come in and see the house. They don't have to deal with that, right? Maybe they have a tenant in there that they don't want to. We are problem solvers. Maybe they have a bunch of liens on the property. They don't know what to do with it. We're problem solvers. Maybe they inherited a property and now there's a vagrant that's living in the property. We are problem solvers. The bigger the problem, the more money we can generate. Okay. So what we're doing is we're transferring a problem from a seller. We're taking on that problem. We're solving that problem, and we're providing it to a cash buyer that will now come in and renovate that house and bring it up to 2015 standards, right? And it's a benefit for the neighborhood. It's a benefit for the neighbors. It's a benefit for the seller. And because we solved the problem and brought those two together, guess what? You deserve to get paid. It's the bottom line. You deserve to get paid. So the thing is being ethical and make sure this, that, and the other. You're providing a service that no one else does. Okay, an agent's going to go in there, and agents are great, and they will service 95% of the population. But a lot of agents go in there and say, listen, they walk into a house, it's a hoarder house. We've got one under contract right now. House is a complete hoarder house. An agent's going to walk in there, which they did, and told the seller that, listen, you got to get this entire place completely cleaned up. You have to repaint the place, right? You have to repaint the place. You have to, get the carpets cleaned. You have to get the place before we can do anything. So now they're like going, well, I don't got the money for that. Well, I don't got the time for that. Well, I can't do that. Now, what does that person do? What do? They're stuck unless someone like us comes along, comes in and helps them solve the problem, and we can get them cash, get the house closed, and they don't have to do a thing. That's the beautiful thing, that what we do. So don't feel bad, right? Don't feel bad about, providing a solution, for people like that. So on the upcoming training, we're going to cover credit rating. I'm going to take you through an entire mechanics of a process of an entire wholesale transaction, of what it looks like, right? And then put it down about how to look for comps, talk about how to make an offer. We're going to talk about that different stuff on there. And I want to basically help you dispel. I'm not selling absolutely anything on the webinar. All I'm doing is there to help you overcome your frustrations, because I want you to go out and make as much money as possible. Okay? Because I know once you get over these obstacles, the light is going to go off. You're going to, holy cow, I had no idea. And I'm like, holy cow, oh my gosh, everything, it's like learning something new for the first time when you thought you knew something and then it changed. Wow. That's not an epiphany, it's an enlightening. So my goal is to help enlighten you on the process that, yes, you can get started. Okay. What's the steps to get started, right? And it's not by doing a ton of things. It's by picking one thing and then getting started creating momentum and then adding on to that. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about funding. We're going to talk about credit. We're going to talk about no money transaction, how it can be done in your market right now. So click the link below, right, this video, register for the upcoming training on there, and make sure you show up because it's going to be awesome. I'm going to take questions from people, and it's going to be fun, right? And I, like I said, I want to help you dispel that whole thing about that. And I'm going to be doing trainings for the next couple weeks here. I'm trying, and there, I mean, I have a look at this. I got a list of people that gave objections and stuff like that from, or not objections, but frustrations from virtual investing to fear to I got to have a mentor, someone I could talk to, someone that I could help do deals with, being overwhelmed on too much stuff, right? That was the big threat. So you've got kids, you got a family, you've got a job you have to do, and then now you want to do real estate investing. How can you do all this around? It's very simple, right? And I'll show you how to do it. And it's basically becoming very focused on one specific thing, focusing on that one thing that will create that momentum, okay? Personal life getting in the way, more deals. How do I get more deals, right? Maybe it's not more deals. Maybe you're getting leads that are coming in your business, but are you converting those leads, which is important? Cash buyers, right? Where do you find a plethora of cash buyers that can buy your deals? Not knowing where to start. Money for marketing. That's another key element. Phone's blown up. That's another key element too. Is money for marketing. So what do you do if you have a very small, tiny, limited budget? And how can you go out there and start creating enough marketing? Now, the understanding is that you are starting and you're going to have to work your butt off, okay? It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work harder than someone that has cash to put into invest in the marketing. So you're going to have to work. And if you're not willing to work, what are you doing this for? You want to go out and get rich? You want to get rich flipping houses? You want to go live the lifestyle and have the cars and the boats and the toys and all the stuff, right? And have an incredible lifestyle of freedom so you don't have to deal with anything, right? Well, guess what? It takes work. If you don't think it does, I don't know who told you it didn't, but it does, right? So, the bottom line is to be able to generate enough leads to get that first deal. And then once you get that first deal, now you can reinvest 15% back in the marketing, and then it starts to build and scale. Okay, so there's specific strategies you can use to be able to do that. The other thing too is consistency. This business is like this, right? Some months you're blowing up. 3-4 months to go down the road, then you haven't done any deals and you're freaking out. What's going on, right? It's understanding that consistency and how to basically have it go like this, up, right? And that is by strategically, consistently marketing and then being able to build a team. So register below. Over the next. We're going to do another training. We're going to talk about a lot of these. We're going to dispel a lot of these frustrations here, and then in the hopes that you will take it, you'll have an enlightening, right? And maybe I can teach you something that you thought you knew, but you now didn't know that you go, holy cow, and it takes away that preconceived notion, and you go out and it inspires you to take action. Right. So click the link below, get registered, and I will see you on the live webinar. Take care and God bless.